So what's up, guys? Like we told you, we would be doing our vintage ride along with Uncle Ben. And as fate had it, we are here and we are at Nile Bannz Cafe. It's one of those stopovers that I usually do when I'm traveling to Jinja. I usually stop over here for a nice cup of coffee. Sometimes, just to relax. When you're driving, sometimes you just need to stop a bit, let the car run, and just take a break.
And just slow down everything.
Yeah. So, like we said, we are using two cars, which are all Mitsubishi Pajeros. One is a short wheelbase, and the other is a long wheelbase. But all of them are the Mark 1 make. The Mark 1 model. And Uncle Ben is driving the long chassis. I'm driving the short chassis. So, Uncle Ben, please tell us what has been your experience so far. We are in about how many kilometers are these? Roughly, because Mukono, you're talking about...
Because we're past Mukono.
Yeah, we are past Mukono. I would say we are roughly 35 kilometers
35, 40,
to Jinja. Yeah. So, Uncle Ben, share your experience. I would like to hear from you. And I'm really, how do I say it? I'm really expectant from a man who probably hasn't driven this Pajero before. So let's get your comment on this.
Yes. First of all, anything clunky in shape, boxy and all that.
It just works for you.
That's me. That works for me. And starting this morning, we started revving up from it was about 6:40, 6:30, 6-ish, yeah.
Well, actually, it was supposed to be 6. But man, the night before I had so much going on. I had a lot of work
and then
to
that
edit.
morning rain was a little bit...
I woke up at 5 actually.
5.
Actually 3. And I packed my things. I packed my bags and all that. But then I went back to bed, hoping that by 5:30 I'll be up.
For me, it was that morning rain. It started hitting so well. But I managed. I kept time anyway.
Man, this guy keeps time. I actually found him waiting in his monster.
It was all hitting up. So far, the road has been smooth. Highlight for me so far, and I'm trying to now make hard decisions. There's something about the MK1 Pajero seat. My God, this thing. I mean, I've been so comfortable. I've been so laid back. I've been enjoying that part of that comfort bit. And then, of course, the gears have been shifting so well. And the clutch, kudos to you for making it really soft. I've been having a very good bit of, balancing here and there. So for me, the experience so far has been good so far, yeah.
You know when people look at the... Excuse me. When people look at the old Pajero, the Mark 1, some of them are actually battered with dents. So usually when someone looks at that car, they think, oh man, this must be one hell of an uncomfortable car. But when you get to drive the Pajero Mark 1, you get to know that people in the early 90s,
late 80s,
late 80s or something of a sort, had a thing for comfort as well. The idea usually is that comfort is something that has come up in the recent years. And like someone could sit like in a Mpenkoni and feel comfortable, or someone could sit like in a Mark X and feel like this is comfortable.
This is it, yeah.
But
until
you find an old Mercedes Benz, until you find an old BMW, that's when you get to know that actually these guys had comfort in mind years ago, So it's the same thing for the Pajero wagon, the Mark 1. Actually, that seat has a shock under.
Wow.
It has a shock under.
I need to explore that shock.
And then the cushioning has springs.
Those ones I experienced.
Do you know like the beds of back then that had springs in them?
I remember when I was a kid, I used to always love jumping.
Those
you're slacking around, you don't wanna rush to school, you just want to keep slacking in bed. Yeah, so I can relate with that.
So they have those springs inbuilt in the seat.
Yeah.
And to add on to that, that car has heated seats. Only that we live in the tropical environment, so most of them you'll find they are disconnected, but they are heated seats. And I see people. I'm sorry, Toyota guys, do not attack me, but I see some Toyotas that are just starting to get heated seats today, and I'm like, you guys, wagwan. So Mitsubishi had so much comfort in mind, even in the early years, in the early 89, 90s and all that.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, the seat, having a shock and all that, did not move on to, I think, the new versions. So, yeah, it's something that Pajero did.
Are those the ones they call the Pajero Vitama? Is it?
Pajero Vitama. I'm yet to find out.
Series, is it?
Yeah, guys, you can come in the comment section if you own like a Pajero Vitama or a later
give us
Pajero.
Your insights. We need to
give us more insights
all
on
this
this.
data.
On this, yeah, yeah. But
so, you see, there's something about old school engineering. There's something that these people put in effort when it comes to user experience. It wasn't about, there's always fights between the engineer and then the designer. Engineers, for them, their thing is about, they're thinking logic of like, this car, I want, when someone revs up, when they hit that turbo, this is what I want them to expect. And then the designer, an experienced designer, is thinking about you. Is thinking about, okay, this car is made for the off-road, it's made for long trips. So how is someone going to keep up with the comfort, So that's how they thought of the experience, the user experience, having the user in mind. So this old school engineering has something magic about it. And if you can, keep riding along with us, this is how you're going to have an encounter with old school engineering, These guys thought ahead. I think right now, tech is just adapting.
For sure. And I think
the old school engineering.
And that's a very, very complex conversation. Design and the mechanical bit of things, like how does the art, of having the car design, the aesthetic of the car, and merge with the engineering of the car. That's a very complicated thing because design has a huge bearing on engineering. I'll give you an example. The boxy Pajeros are not aerodynamic, but aesthetically they are pleasing.
Appeasing, yeah.
So you see how the design affects the outcome of the engineering.
I know that can be a huge argument.
Yes. So
when you have the engineers, you have the designers in the same room. But what I like with the Mitsubishi Pajero, I would say it's a car that brings together impeccable design, but also amazing engineering. Yes.
And for me, the Mitsubishi Pajero is one of the cars that is well balanced in terms of design and engineering.
Okay.
When you look at the consumption, you're driving a 2.5 liter diesel engine. But then when you look at the suspension, you're having the independent suspension, giving you a little bit more of comfort. And then when you go into things to do with the 4-wheel drive, it's a proper 4-wheel drive,
100% reliable.
Very reliable. But when you go to speed, it's not super fast. It's not gonna be like some V8 or whatever. But it's good enough.
It's good enough.
And
you see that feeling of, I can't go faster than you, but I can go everywhere. Off-road, take me there.
I call that the Land Rover's excuse of, I can go anywhere. I don't care about the rest of the stuff.
Land Rover Club will have us, but it's okay. We love to have this conversation.
So I'm just going to go through the places we've passed to get here. I love traveling because as you grow older, every place or every point along the way has a history. It brings back certain memories.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why I don't mind traveling, because when I go places, I remember my childhood. So I'll tell you, we started from I stay in Chambogo. We started from Chambogo, and went to Shell Banda. I see, Shell Chireka. I see Chireka becoming an interesting town. Back then, Chireka wasn't that town which, was exciting and all that. But when you look now, the buildings that they've started putting up, they're more nice-looking buildings. And the businesses are also looking more sleek. But then, back then, Chireka used to be... And that Kaska place is still there, where they sell the muogo and, vitumbua, things like that. On the side here near Chicken Tonight, I think called Chicken. So, for me, that's something I can talk about, Chireka. It's really getting organized in a way. It's becoming and it has several bars, those tiny bars. Actually, I have a story for one of the bars when I was at University in Chambogo. There's a kebab we used to go to in Chireka, and it was a thing back then. I think what it was called. I don't even remember the name. But it's also known for the bars. Yeah.
So
maybe do you have anything to share about Chireka?
I observed things here and there, and I've also observed transformation over the years. One thing I know about Chireka, and it's a community well known of people from Tesoland. I'm told.
Tell me about that. You mean now tribes own locations?
I hear. But for the Itesots, they've taken over that community. And I'm told the old school kind of old money from that time, you can imagine. So when you're getting to Chireka and you're Nitesot, you can't get stuck. That's for sure.
You just be like, man, biaibo and shit moves.
And they'll be like, hey, Tamit, hey. You'll be like,
but I think you have a point, because I remember even in Chambogo.
The students? You
mean the students? Banda.
Businesses here and there.
Banda, there are so many hoods of Ajono in there.
Where, guys?
I'll tell you a story of where I took Ajono and left my mind at the bar, left my brain at the bar.
Must have hit hard. Yeah, but now, seeing, arriving at Shell as early as 6, of course, me by 5:30 I was on the move. So, of course, bars was still happening.
That's Chireka for you. That's Chireka for you.
It was dripping, the rain was happening, and people were still happening. And I'm like, okay.
That's Chireka for you. Okay. I think it's more like now the Kabalagala of this side.
And then, of course, seeing that as early as 6, businesses are opening up, I was like, man, it feels like 7 p.m. I mean,
Chireka never sleeps.
Yeah, so it's vibrant.
Then from Chireka, the next stop, the next town was Seta. Seta reminds me of Namiryango. I went to.
You went in go?
I went to Namiryango Primary, junior boys.
Junior one,
Kinder. They used to call it Kinder. So I was there, and that was my primary, P1, P2. Man, that place was hell for me. That's the place that traumatized me. I think I'm still having the after effects, but that's a story for another day. It reminds me of going to Namiryango, and This is P1 and P2. My parents took me to boarding in P1 and P2.
That's why head guy with hard cars.
Hard guy with hard cars.
Yes.
But anyways, so I went to Namiryango at that time, and I remember Seta was also one village of, and when you look at the road that goes to Namiryango, now there are houses, apartments, and stuff like that.
Yes.
It was one hell of a forest. Okay. It was a huge forest, and going to school felt like, going to prison, But moving forward, then we move on to Mukono. Mukono was the hub of all the nice schools, performing schools,
Seta.
If you remember,
Mukono
had, of course, Namagunga was counted in Mukono, Namiryango, and a couple of other schools in there.
Where would you put Seta? Okay. Anyway, our times it was more of
Seta. You mean Seta
High?
Seta High. Seta High is new school, man.
Speaking of the traditional,
it's new school. By the time I was in Namiryango in primary, Seta wasn't yet there.
Okay.
Yeah, but Seta High reminds me of basketball. My first.
By the way, I remember I used to play basketball.
Yeah.
I also tried, and I would play forward. I don't know what was your favorite thing.
Me, I was mainly doing a point guard.
I was a forward guy. That Chavazinga court and the HM towards the gate. Those courts were
so I remember we had Sprite. The Sprite national tournament.
That was a big deal.
Yeah. It reminds me of there was this one guy called Nasif. I think he was from Kaboja. So I think Nasif I don't know, maybe might be also watching this podcast, but I remember like everyone quaked Nassif, and
Was he like mad?
he was like one of
you
those.
know how you have that mess prefect who is mug. The guy comes and then you guys
He
just
was
are
like one of those bad basketballers
Hey.
back then, and around the country, people would say, "Man, that guy." So I remember we were at SETA playing these tournaments, and Nassif, I think, arrived, and rumors went around. Have you heard this? Nassif has come. You guys, is it Nassif? I was like, "Oh, who is Nassif?" But anyway, those are the memories I have of SETA. And then moving Mukono. Mukono for me is also reminds me of this town that never grows.
Is it?
Mukono never grows. Well,
It's been in a comfort
it does
zone.
grow, but thinking about it, it should be far. You know, based on where it's located, the
But being on a
schools,
highway and
and being on the highway. But man, the only development I see now in SETA is KFC. SETA guys, Maya Mukono guys, no beef. But I feel like this town should be somewhere. And of course, when you talk about Mukono, back then it was Collins Hotel.
Collins Hotel.
Collins
Mukono.
Hotel was a thing. But now it's like you know, something in the past, because now hotels have come up, places have come up, people have built resorts along
inside
is that,
Mukono.
that,
Yeah.
that place going to Katosi Road. People have like bought chunks of land and put resorts and farms.
Yeah.
And I think it's the new thing. People are no longer thinking about having like huge hotels. People are looking at those getaways near the
cottages,
lake,
and then
cottages and things like that.
You know, these team building activities.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's one thing I know about Mukono and the outskirts. And of course, right now we are at Nile Bannz Cafe. I love this place. It doesn't stress like in terms of marketing. It's just beautiful. And I have this ideology that if you are good at what you do, sometimes you just don't have to make noise about it. People come and experience it. This place is known for pizza.
Wow.
There's good pizza here. If you come to the Nile Bannz Cafe, you're going to get some nice pizza. It's a good place for kids, like you see around.
Kids play.
They have children's play area. And then if you just want to have a good, if you want
Just
to have
slow
like
it down a bit,
yes,
you know.
or they have nice toilets. It's a place where you can just chill. And also the customer care. Every time I come here, I usually find sometimes like very early in the morning, you find one person.
Yeah.
And they'll take care of you. Today I found Peter. Peter, come and say hello to us. So Peter is a barista at this place, and he runs Nile Bannz Cafe.
Yeah.
So you could share with us something about the place.
It's a nice place with a very good parking, a very nice cafe. If you want some coffee, have some coffee. I can make for you cappuccino, latte, black coffee, African coffee, and so many others. Even the juices are there. Ice cream is there. So
And the
feel free.
snacks are usually
And
good
the-
snacks.
The snacks they are making right now. So don't worry yourself. Come to Bannz and enjoy.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Peter.
Thank you for coming also. I welcome you all.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. I appreciate your customer care and how you handled us and how you welcomed us. It's amazing. Every time we come, we'll stop by here.
It's all right.
Yeah, so it's one of those places. So it's one of those places whereby you just want to have a break and you get it. So anybody that's going to the east, is a place where you can stop. So
It's actually well bestowed just after Namagonga. Is it Namagonga?
after Namagunga,
Yeah, when you're getting to the climbing lane, it's well, it's well bestowed, and for me, the ambiance, it's really, okay, French.
You man, the ambiance. This guy speaks French by now.
Anyway, the experience is powered by the Uncle Ben Vintage Store Coffee, and right now we are having. Surprisingly, Sparkus is doing a medium one. He's keeping it light.
You know?
And me too, let me keep it light because we still have a long day ahead.
Yeah.
So, we are doing the Bannz Kajambia blend. It's inspired by the Mercedes Benz. I know you're a Mercedes guy.
I'm a Mercedes
The
guy. You know,
W123.
people know me for the Pajeros, but I'll tell you one thing. Wait for me. I'm going to get some Mercedes Benzes and rebuild them.
I want to be a part of that hunt.
You know, I didn't know much about Benz's, but I have a friend, I have family friends that are very close to me, and they introduced me to the Mercedes. It's one of the cars I used to learn from, and ever since then, bro, it's remained in me. We learned driving in a 124.
Was it a left-hand drive?
It was a left-hand drive 124. Man, that car is amazing.
And then the door bit where you just.
Yes. When even if you find like a very, very old, dilapidated Mercedes,
it's iconic of them.
Everything fits like snug, like in there, like that sound.
I think someday we should do something with
absolutely.
W123.
You could get like maybe a 190, and I get maybe
a 190E.
Yeah, and then I pick up a 124
or 123. Yeah,
that's our next thing. Our next thing. So big up to you for making this happen. Our next break is going to be at Mavira. We have a lot to talk about Mavira. So stay tuned and see you on the road as we hit for Mavira. Thank you so much for watching this, and catch you along the way. Cheers, man. Do they do cheers on coffee?
Click once, click twice. Cheers.
Man,
that's the coffee culture.
This guy is complicated. But anyways, thank you so much. Catch you on the next one.
Yes.
What's the drive?
The drive, of course, we are doing 60, 80 here and there. Keeping it, at our pace.
Keeping it our pace.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. We're keeping it our pace. We are also keeping the traffic rules and, riding smooth. No kavuyo, no wasi. You know how taxi guys be. We're gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
Moving in a 2-car convoy, old school Mitsubishi Pajeros, Mark 1 all the way. Thank you so much.
Keeping it safe on the road.
Yep. All right.